Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Trasher Football. It's that time of year again to review and go over and predict college football teams' schedules for this year, the 2024 season. Now, first up, I do want to go over the Colorado football schedule for the Buffaloes. This is a schedule that, is very different from last season. I think they're only going to have maybe... No, because they don't face TCU this season. Okay, the only one is Nebraska and Colorado State. Are I think the only ones from last season that they'll be facing again. No, they'll face Arkansas or Arizona. My bad. Okay, so that's 3. My bad. So we'll go ahead and crack into it. I keep forgetting. I already did my predictions earlier. I just need to pull up the screenshots now. But for week 1, you face off against North Dakota State. And North Dakota State is really an FCS blue blood. I mean, how many national championships at the FCS level have they won over the last couple of years? I mean, they went 11-4 last year, made it to the semifinals in their playoffs. In 2022, they went 12-3, and then they ended up losing in the championship game. I mean, 2021, they went 14-1 and won the championship. So, I mean, this is a team that you don't want to mess around with here, Colorado. I am going to give the win to Colorado just slightly right here, but do put a little question mark beside it, because I'm still not 100% sure on if I think Colorado will win this or not. North Dakota State is not an FCS team to play around with. That's going to be a very interesting game right there for both the Buffaloes and the Bison. Now in week 2, you do play at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Last time they played, Colorado did win 36-14. It was in a sold-out Boulder, though. I do think that this is probably going to be a loss right here for Colorado. Nebraska now under Matt Rule. Matt Rule's doing something actually pretty darn good over there. Last season they did go 5-7, but that's kind of expected in the first year of a coach who's rebuilding, a Division I FBS Power 5 team. But I mean, just compared to last season, I don't think that Nebraska's going to lose this game. I'm still very confused about this one. So I feel like if Colorado loses North Dakota, they're going to beat Nebraska. But if they beat North Dakota, they're going to lose to Nebraska. So they're going to start the season off 1-1. Very well could start at 0-2, but I don't see them starting 2-0. Then in week 3, you play against Colorado State. Now last season they did play against Colorado State in probably one of the most fun overtime games I've seen since the Iron Bowl a couple of years ago. Now, this was a game that had a lot of controversy going into it. This was a game that had a lot of us tuning in after midnight, depending on what time, and what time zone of the country you were in, watching this game. Some Pac-12 after dark between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. Colorado did win 43-35 last year in double overtime. It was in Boulder, but this year it'll be in Fort Collins at Colorado State. Do give me the win for Colorado State right here. I think that they're going to be able to get it done. They have some talent they've retained. I do love their head coach, by the way. But, I mean, they also have a very hard schedule, too. They open up against Texas and North Colorado. It's a very interesting start to their schedule right there. But next up, we do have the Baylor Bears. It is their homecoming in Boulder, Colorado. I don't know. I do have Colorado winning this one. This will be homecoming. This will be a very big start to the season. Maybe start 2-2, 3-1 possibly right here. Baylor hasn't really shown to do much of anything with Dave Aranda as the head coach aside from his first season. Last year in 2023, Baylor went 3-9, which was abysmal. Now, I don't even remember. Hold on. Let me actually do a quick Google search real quick on if they still have him or not, because I think they still have Dave Aranda. Yes, they do. It is his 5th season as head coach. This is the make or break season for Baylor right here. Do they get the job done? Maybe, maybe not. Do give me the win right here for Colorado, though. So to start out their season 2-2 is my prediction. And then in week 5, you do have Colorado at the UCF Knights. Now this is going to be a really fun one. This is a game between the black and gold right here. 2 black and gold teams who have really been trying to fight for supremacy between lower teams who have been trying to work their way up to the top for like the first time in their program's history, or at least the first time in for before that a lot of us were alive. You know what I mean? This will be at Orlando. I do have a lot of hope on UCF for this season, aside from the fact when they play Florida, but we'll get to that when we do the Florida video. I do have UCF winning this one. This is a really good Big 12 team right there. You know, Gus Malzahn is building something really decent over there, and I still think that they should have never fired him from Auburn. You know, UCF last season, they did go 6-7, but they still had a couple of close games, you know, like the 2-point score with Oklahoma. They did get squashed by Kansas in a 1-point loss to Baylor, but, you know, in a 1-point loss to Texas Tech too. A lot of really close scores right there. I'm not saying UCF is great, I'm just saying they're better than Colorado. Then you have your bye week, and then you face off against, sorry about that, the Kansas State Wildcats. It will be in Boulder, but do give me another loss for Colorado here. Give me Kansas State. Kansas State is winning the Big 12 this year, aren't they? It's either going to be them, Utah, or Arizona, and, you know, I just don't have hope on Colorado beating a really good team such as Kansas State. You know, they still have Chris Kleiman as head coach. You know, he's done a really fantastic job, you know, to say the least, here at Kansas State. You know, he used to be the head coach at North Dakota State, the team that we were just discussing about earlier. Kansas State went 9-4 last season. They went 10-4 the season before, 8-3 the season before. I really do think that they have an opportunity to make a New Year's Six Bowl again, like they did in 2022 against Alabama. This will be it'll be a fun game, but Kansas State's going to take the win here. I think it might be close for the majority, but I think Kansas State will slide away with the victory near the end of the game. And then up next, you have to play at Arizona, the Wildcats. Now, they did lose their head coach to the Washington Huskies, so that's going to be a big downside right there for Arizona because they were really good last year. You know, Jedd Fisch, who actually graduated from the University of Florida, by the way, so I honestly think if they get rid of Billy Napier, Jedd Fisch will become the new head coach. But, 10-3 is really good, you know, in your third season at Arizona. The way that he just absolutely turned that team around, and he did it so quickly and precisely. He went from 1-11 to 5-7 to 10-3, and making a bowl game, and winning a bowl game, and getting ranked in the top 12. That is a wonderful feat. So losing him to Washington is a big loss. But you do have Brent Brennan as the head coach. You know, he's the former head coach of San Jose State. This is his second head coaching job in college football. I do have Arizona winning this one. I think that, you know, the fact that they're retaining a lot of talent is really what's going to be able to help this team roll on into this upcoming season as, you know, a really good, now this year being a good Big 12 team. So do give me a loss right there for Colorado. And then up next, they play off against Cincinnati Bearcats. Now this one was a little bit of a toss-up for me because Cincinnati was a good team for like a hot minute before they joined the Big 12. You know, the season in 2022, they made the college football. Oh, wait, no, they made it in 2021. 2021, they made it into the college football playoffs. They did lose in round one, getting absolutely squashed by Alabama. And then in year two, you know, they fell off a little bit, 9-4, but it wasn't too bad. You know, still made a bowl game. And then in 2023, things just really fell apart right there. I mean, going 3-9, flipping your record from the previous season. You know, this is going to be a really hard game for Cincinnati. Do give me Colorado to win this game, though. I don't. Cincinnati's just not good. At least not right now. It's in Boulder, too. This will probably be another one of those night-game sellouts for Boulder, because Deion Sanders, whether you want to agree that he's a good head coach or not, he is a star. He does have that aura that anywhere he goes, people are going to gravitate to. And, you know, Colorado's just that thing for the, you know, last season and probably another season or two, depending on if Shador, Travis Hunter, and Shiloh, depending on how long they stay. So then there's another bye week, and then you enter your last four games right here. You have at Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas. Now, this is another interesting game right here, because Texas Tech also hasn't been one of the greatest Big 12 teams recently. You know, last season they went 7-6. The season before that, or no, sorry. Yeah, the season before that they went 8-5. Season before that, 7-6 again. They haven't been good in a while. They really haven't been good since Patrick Mahomes played for them. You know, I mean, last season, Texas Tech lost to Wyoming. They lost to Wyoming. What does that say to you? and BYU got demolished by Texas. In this Texas Tech game, do give me Colorado to win this one. I think that this should be a very easy away game for Colorado. I think this might be the only away game that Colorado will win this season. And then you enter your final three, which might be one of the hardest just 3-game stretches in the Big 12 this year. You have against Utah. Now, Cam Rising is returning after getting the medical red shirt from last season. He's a really good quarterback, y'all. I remember seeing him play against Florida in the game in 2022 when Anthony Richardson was quarterback. Utah probably should have won that game, but they made a couple of mental mistakes that, with time that it can be fixed. And I think that time has been fixed. Kyle Whittingham is a wonderful head coach. He's been at Utah for as long as I can remember. Like, legitimately as long as I can remember. Do give me Utah to win this one. I have either Utah, Arizona, or Kansas State winning the Big 12 this season. It's a no-brainer. This is going to be like the Oregon game last season. Big blowout. But it'll be in Boulder, so I think that those seats are going to be over 75% empty by halftime. And then in the second to last week, you have at Kansas, but it'll be in Kansas City because they're renovating their football stadium. But due to that fact, Kansas was good last season. Like, ladies and gentlemen, is this 2007? Because Kansas was a good football team last season. They did go 9-4, but I mean, if you look at their schedule, 3-point loss to Texas Tech, 4-point loss to Kansas State, a 7-point loss to Oklahoma State. They did get demolished by Texas, but that does make sense. They did beat Oklahoma. They beat Cincinnati, beat BYU, beat UNLV, which, I mean, it's a very easy Big 12 schedule this past year. But, hype can really make a team better. Fans showing up at games and encouraging the players to do better can make a team better. A winning record against bad teams, I think you get what I'm trying to get here. I'm not going to go any further without, talking too much and embarrassing myself in the comments, as I seem to do on every predictions video. Do give me a loss for Colorado. Kansas is going to grab another W, but this time in Kansas City, at Arrowhead Stadium too. And then in your last game of the season, November 29th, you have against Oklahoma State. This will be senior day at Boulder. Oklahoma State, last season was a really up and down season. They did stay ranked though, but last season, Oklahoma State, man, that loss to Southern Alabama was just, it was really embarrassing, wasn't it? It was in Oklahoma. They lost 33-7. They did beat Arizona State. They beat Kansas. They beat a good Kansas State team. They beat West Virginia, beat Cincinnati, beat Oklahoma, and then they get demolished by UCF. This Oklahoma team does not really make sense. You know what I mean? They did make the Big 12 championship game, though, and they beat Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl. Do give me Oklahoma State to win this. I also could see Colorado possibly winning due to the fact that it's going to be senior day. Don't call me out on that because I'm not still 100% sure. But at the end of the day, I do predict a 4-8 record for Colorado. It's going to be a repeat of last season. They're going to start out their first 5 games maybe, with a big rush. Everybody's, oh my God, they're going to go 90 million and 0. They're going to win the Heisman Trophy, win the national championship. They're going to be the number 1 team in the playoffs this year, which is now a 12-team playoff. They're going 100 million and 0, winning the Natty. No, they're not. They're going 4-8, 5-7 at best, maybe 6-6. 3-9 at the worst. I think 4-8, 5-7 is about the average right here, depending on how the first 3 games go. I have faith that they could win the first 3 or 4 games, maybe even 5. But are they going to win all of them? No. Are they going to win most of them? Possibly. But I do want to see what your guys are in the comments below on this video. Do make sure that you like and subscribe. I would love to see what your guys' opinions are, and let me know what schedule you want me to predict later, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later.